Today, we're going to start with a good golf grip. So, first of all, before we even do the grip, we've got to think about this face of the golf club here, okay? And I'm just going to sit it on its bottom behind this golf ball, fairly close to the golf ball. And this leading edge here, not the top bit, the bottom edge, is perpendicular to my target line, the yellow line on the ground. Only then can we start to take the grip. Now, for a right-handed golfer, the left-hand grip is the top hand. And as you can see there, I've got the back of the golf grip itself sat very nicely across my fingers, not in the palm, but in the fingers. And then I'm going to lap that left hand over so that the left thumb is to the right of center. I don't know whether you can see the Lampkin name there, but my left thumb is to the right of that name, that Lampkin. Another check. If I look down onto my left hand, I can see 3 knuckles on the left hand. I don't want to move my head to see it, but if I'm looking directly down, I can see 3 knuckles on that left hand. Also, the left thumbnail is slightly below my index finger, i.e. we don't want the left thumb to be elongated down the grip like this because that causes too much tension in the left arm and in the hand. Okay, so just like this. 3 knuckles, left thumb to the right of center. Okay, so just nice and comfortable. Grip pressure is very light, 5 out of 10 max. That's the left-hand grip for right-handed golfer. Now we've got to try and get this right hand fixed. So we've got 3 options in actual fact. We could use a double-handed grip, which is good for kiddies really when they first start, okay? Then we have the interlock grip, which I've sort of made a little space there with my little finger of the right hand to go in and interlock the fingers. Tiger Woods uses that grip. But actually, the most popular grip of all is when we make very little space here and we just let this little finger of the right hand sit in the last groove, called an overlap grip. And then you can see now where we've got 3 fingers now left. And once again, the back of the golf grip itself is sat very nicely in there. Okay, and I lap the hand over. So the left thumb is to the right and the right thumb is to the left. And in actual fact, if you look at that, these lines created between the hand and the thumbs, okay, and here also, are pointing up between my chin and the right shoulder, okay? They're working as one big hand, all right? There's no difference really in the pressure of either. They're both gripping it very lightly and in the fingers, okay? So that's a nice golf grip. Today we're going to concentrate on the stance and posture, and with a 7-iron and with a driver and the differences between those 2 stances. The idea that you use the same golf swing with everything is in principle correct, but there has to be some changes. The posture with a driver and with the 7-iron is completely different. The 7-iron we're trying to hit down onto the ball to get it off a fairway and up in the air, and then with the driver on the tee with a nice high tee peg, we're trying to hit it on the up. So we're going to be using a different stance just to help you do that, and then in principle use the same golf swing that you have. All right, although technically it would be different. All right, so hopefully you've worked on your grip in the previous video. Welcome back. Hope you can subscribe. And so we'll make a start to stance and posture. I've got a 7-iron here, and I'm going to play a 7-iron in principle just slightly to the left of center of my stance. So I'm going to stand about as wide as a step, okay? Not too wide, not too narrow. And so very natural, about as wide as a step. The ball is going to be played just to the left of center of my feet. My toes are slightly turned out, both toes, so it helps my hip joints turn a little bit. The hips work a little bit in the golf swing also, okay? And then from this view, of course, this 7-iron's on the ground, the ball's on the ground. And so I have to get to the ground. So the way I'm going to do that is to flex the knees, not overly, because then I'll fall over. Flex the knees slightly so I'm still strong, my legs feel strong. And I'm going to push my hip bones back, keeping the weight still centered in between my feet, really solid in between my feet. All right, and then the arms should hang. So the proviso is I'm trying to stand actually as tall as I can, yet bend so that the club head is on the ground. Okay. So that's going to help the arc of the swing. If I use the height, i.e. don't want to get too rounded and such. Shoulders back, knees bent, hips back, arms hang. A good solid frame to start from. Legs feel strong. Okay, so back round this way. So slightly left of centre, toes out, nice strong posture. My hands, can you see that shaft is slightly to the left? It's not going, certainly visually, it's not straight down. There's a slight angle in that shaft. That's a good thing, okay? We would like actually to impact on the ball like that eventually when we get there. Okay, so there we are. Face perpendicular to the yellow line, nice golf grip, hands slightly forward, wide as a step, nice solid frame, bending over the ball. Okay, that should then, in theory, enable us to hit with a slight descending blow onto the ball, because my shoulders, because of the ball position, my shoulders are slightly tilted to the left, but not very much at all. In principle, level to the ground. Okay, like this. The amount I turn or tilt my shoulders and the ball position in golf are so linked. Okay, very important fact that really. Because now we're going to do a driver and we're going to show you the differences. Okay, throw that away. Ball on a nice big T-peg. And so, big head there, easy to hit a driver. And to help to do that, we're going to play the ball opposite the left heel now, 2 or 3 inches further forward. I'm going to stand wider. This is a big long club, 30, 43, 44, 45 inches long. Big arc, so I'm going to have a nice wide stance. Okay, good solid base. The idea of flexing the knees and the hips back and the arms hanging is exactly the same in that sense. But do you notice that with that ball being forward that way, my shoulder, my right shoulder is, the right-handed player, is lower and tilted. It's quite a tilt now. That's the main difference. So an iron, just to recap, would be ball in the middle. It would be like this, driver, opposite the left heel, good solid posture, right shoulder down, because we're trying to hit this ball almost on the up. All right. Today we're going to do half swings, which is half a swing. It's actually when the left arm is parallel to the ground. And we have a right angle here, an L shape, and the same thing through the ball. This is a classic half swing, which is very useful if you're just beginning the game. Then we really need to learn that. We need to do it slowly. It's also very, very helpful for those of you who are established golfers that might not pitch the ball very well. In principle, this is like a pitching swing for those of you who understand the terminology in golf. Okay, so for beginners and for people who are advanced but aren't maybe great pitchers. Okay, so I've got 3 balls here, and the principle is that, okay, I've got my grip, I've got my stance and posture, which hopefully you've watched in the last couple of videos. Nice ball position. What I'm trying to do now, and to start the whole affair of playing golf, is that I'm trying to move the club head, okay, to that ball there. This shaft is pointing at that ball, okay? I've done that by moving my hands and my arms and my left shoulder a little bit. There, it's pointing at that one. Now I'm going to move my shoulders and my hands and arms a little more, turn to there, and now this shaft is pointing at that other ball out there. Then the shaft gets parallel to this one on the ground. Now, I'll just split my hands a little bit. Now this end takes over. That shaft is pointing at that ball now, and then that ball, that ball. Okay, that's a little bit more than half a swing, but you get the idea. So what we're doing is we're creating the right path to deliver the club head to the ball, okay? So it's creating the right arcs, creating the right path. All these terms, it's all the same, okay? So the principle of path, the correct path in the golf swing, is when the club head is pointing at the ball to target line, okay, or parallel to it, parallel here, pointing, pointing, pointing. That's the basis of golf. And actually the same applies on this side. See how it's pointing at that ball there? Okay, so let's try that. There we go, parallel. parallel. Okay. The important thing is, goes right back to that grip, when the grip is relaxed, quite light. And so when we reach this backswing position, okay, this half swing, we're just allowing gravity to take course. Just let the club head drop. If it drops this side, it will go up this side. And that's the basis of golf. We don't want to interfere with that. Okay, all the other things about power and such, that all comes later. But the principle of golf is to get the club on the right path, pointing, pointing, parallel, pointing, drop. Do not throw yourself at it. It won't do you any good. You know, the more you try and muscle it, actually, the less the club is moving. It's just not efficient. All right, so point at the ball, hinge the wrist. Whether you like it or not, this right arm will fold and you will get the right angle here. You will get that lovely L shape. This is the main deal now. Let the club head drop. Very relaxed. All right, that's the way you're going to get your ball in the air. That's the way that you pitchers or good players, but don't pitch the ball very well, you know, you've probably got too much body in it too early this way. Okay. All right. Okay. So, and in fact, that's the basis of the whole of the game of golf. We just mustn't try too hard. We must learn how to swing the club properly. We are holding it. You know, that's our only contact with the thing, with the golf club. Okay. So the first principle is to learn how to swing your hands and arms at the ball. All the other things of turning and weight shift and all those type of things, blah, blah, are all additions. They're all helpful in power. Of course they are. And we will do it. But first of all, just get into how to swing the club nicely. Get the ball in the air. You'll have fun. If you get the ball in the air, you'll have fun. Hope that's helpful. Today, I'm going to try and explain a full swing and the intricacies of that. Some things you can do, I can't do, and et cetera, et cetera. So we're all different. It's all around the idea that nice grip, nice posture, that we make that half swing. Really what I was saying was half swing is when you turn your shoulders half of the way of where they need to be. So half swing. Now I'm just going to try and turn my shoulders more so that my shoulders turn 90 degrees. Okay, to those yellow lines. That's a full swing. Now, depending on someone's flexibility, you may well be able to turn your shoulders 90 degrees, but the arms might only get to here. That's okay, that's fine. It's not really about the length of the arm swing that matters. It's the quality, if you wish, of how you turn your shoulders around a fixed point, which is your head and your spine. All right, so, and that's different because, well, golf is different because the ball's on the ground and most of the sports we play is side to side. Okay, we can't afford to do that. It's too variable. So again, nice, solid center, my head, turning the shoulders around my body to 90 degrees. That's a full swing. Okay, full backswing. We did the half swing and we got to the point where I was sort of very keen on you just swinging the club down with gravity, just letting the club drop. Same applies here. I won't make a follow through yet, but we're just going to turn back and swing the club down. Swing the club down. If you do that super well, you'd probably hit behind the ball. That's because we haven't got the follow through going yet. And that's okay as a practice in actual fact, because that will save you chopping across the ball. You'll be coming down on the right swing path. In golfing terms, we call it hitting the ball from the inside, which means inside this yellow line from here somewhere, not from over here. Okay. A slicer of this world will go back, might have a super backswing, but they do this. They start down with the shoulders. Now they're way over here, look. That's a slicing swing, a topping swing, a slicing swing, big divots. None of it's very good really, actually. So we don't want to be a golfer like that. We want to turn to the top, nice center, good shoulder turn, swing those arms down. Okay. Loose again. Okay. All right, I'll just tap this that way, okay? All right. So that's hitting the ball from the inside. If there was one tip you were ever given and you really understood it and you took it away and you sort of religiously tried to get it, and someone said to you, hit it from the inside, and you went and discovered how to do that, you'd be a pretty decent golfer. Okay, that's how you do it. Turning properly, swinging your arms. Don't get energizing that body or trying to throw yourself at it. Swing your club on the inside. Now, the momentum of that club and that relaxed downswing, I want it to carry you through into your finish, where you turn through and you face the target. Okay. At all times, we're keeping the head pretty centered. Swinging through. Okay. And swing is a bit faster. Fast. Okay. So that's a confidence thing, to swing the club faster, freer. Okay. That will come. So that's a full swing. That's a full swing whether you're hitting a driver. We did the tilts in another episode. So get your setup right and swing like that. So let's say the turn in the backswing is number 1. The drop is number 2, where the body stays quite still but the arms drop. That's 2. Then 3 is you follow through. So we're going to try and turn everything then through the ball, around the body again, into a follow through, whereby we finish facing the target. That's number 3. So 1, 2, 3 is a golf swing. That's a full golf swing. So you've seen the flyover. Nice dog leg to the left. Not a long hole, 368 yards, 13th hole at Withington Golf Club. Good hole though. The pond on the left-hand side that cuts in, that makes it a greater dog leg, is at 251. You can hit your drive up the right side to 270 without running out of room. So it's very tempting to hit driver. I'm going to try a driver. You could hit something less, but not only do we have the pond down there on the left-hand side, but we have trees cutting in. So if you hit the ball about 200 yards, there and thereabouts, you'll have to play out to the right-hand side to then access the green for your third shot, which is absolutely fine. It's quite a low stroke index. Nice golf hole this. So we'll have a go. We'll be brave and hit driver and see what happens. So we have here the River Mersey on the right hand side, behind these trees. A little bit of tree trouble in the river. The pond at 251, we know that, or start of the pond, trees on the left. So I'm really homing in on, there's a little tiny bit of a branch or part of that tree, right at the tip of those trees in the distance. Really try to home in on that, because that is actually the centre of the fairway. That's my target. I'm really focusing on seeing a beautiful high drive landing in that direction. Okay, so again, I am picking out the tallest part of those bushes in the distance. I'm really focusing on that, and that's pretty well down the centre of the fairway. We have the River Mersey on the right hand side again, and tree trouble. The river's just over the top of those trees, and the pond on the left. Yeah, it's quite a demanding tee shot this, but one that, you know, you can play safe if you want to make a 5. But okay, I'm focusing on that tree right in the distance. All right. Okay, found the fairway. Good. Yeah, so I hit a decent drive. I found the middle of the fairway. And I've got a 102 shot, 102 yards to the flag. The bunkers on the left and right are actually a little bit beyond that. So a mistake would be to hit it too big in actual fact on this occasion. So yeah, 102 to the flag, maybe about 100 yards, 6 foot putt for birdie with a bit of luck. That'll be a good tactic. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I need to pick my spot. Nearly forgot that. Okay, good. Just there, line the face, in we go. 102. Okay, yeah, happy with that. I think I've hit it to about 4 feet, 6 feet. So nice birdie putt coming up. Right, okay. So very happy with that wedge shot. I've hit it to 4 or 5 feet. I think there's a bit of movement on this putt, but I'm just going to hit it straight at the hole. The greens are not very fast, and I'm going to be brave and hit it straight in the middle of the cup. And so let's see what happens. There we go. Nice birdie putt. I'm happy with that. All right, so short game skills in terms of also picking the right shot, you know, for a particular lie and situation here. So I'm going to go for this first flag. Absolutely zero space, really, whatever it is, 8-9 feet space. And I'm going to play a chip and run. I'm going to play a 9-iron. Okay. Although the grass is still quite wet from yesterday's rain, you know, it's still the best option, still the safest option. I'm not really trying to get it so close. I'd love that, but if I'm 6 or 8 feet past, I'm also happy. You know, I'm not trying to be so clever that I make a mess of it and hit it just short. You know, because then you've still got a really tricky chip. So, okay, 9-iron, weight left, hands forward a little bit. Nice sort of arc of a swing in and forward. Okay, so yeah, 5-6 feet. Not my best, but I'm okay. Let's try another one of those. Okay. All right, better. Just skipped up for me nicely to a couple of feet. All right, now, I have only moved, one step back. And I've got here now a really tricky lie. Out the rough. I can put it in worse than that. They are down in here. Okay. And everything's changed. I'm now going to use, I'll put it in my footprint there. Okay. I'm now going to use a 60-degree. Completely different shot. I'm not going to try and hit down on a chip and run 9-iron. I don't think that's going to work too well. So I'm going to use my 60-degree. All right. Again, I'm trying to hit it to 6 or 8 feet. All right. So, all right. Bit of weight left. Nice positive swing. There we go. Hit down, got a bit of divot. Okay, let's press that down a bit. Same again. All right, that's good. I'm happy with those. Personally, you know, I'm all right with that shot. But you need to practice that. You need to just scatter your balls around your pitching green at home. Don't tee them up, just throw them in everywhere and go and experience every lie that you can get. All right, and with a 9-iron and a lob wedge or a 56-degree or 58, whichever you may well have in your bag. Okay, hope that helps you.